Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokat. Welcome to Living in Two Worlds. And tonight's Wednesday, June 30th, the last night in June. Can you believe it? How quickly this month has gone. Like all the others, but don't you think it went even faster? Feels like it to me anyway. So welcome everybody. Welcome to those that are joining us in the live chat. So good to have you here with us this evening. And those that will be watching by the recorded show, thank you so much for making time in your day to spend it with us. We do appreciate it. This evening, Star Nation's live stream shows, um, you know, it's got a really good show here, Living in Two Worlds. Why? Is because it's two of our favorite elders, and that is Carl and Ortrun Franklin. Every time I do a show with them, I feel like I get the front row seat because there's always some piece of information that I've never heard before, or I've heard it and now I'm hearing it in a different way. And those are golden nuggets. So get some paper out because you're going to want to jot something down tonight, okay? Because we have a show tonight for you about Nibiru and the Photon belt. And you always know that when if it's coming out of Carl's book, it's going to be a good one. So let's bring them on, Carl and Ortrun Franklin.
Hi, everybody.
Hello,
There we
everyone.
are.
Glad to be with you again.
How are you?
And, a day early, but a happy July to you. Hope it's a wonderful month for you.
Yeah, almost, isn't it?
Right.
And as we're chatting, I promised a couple people that I would send them a messenger message with the link for the show because they wanted to be here tonight. So I almost forgot. So I'm going to do that right now. And while I'm doing that, if you could do just a little brief explanation about what our topic is tonight so that our listeners will be able to understand the perspective that we're coming from.
Okay, first of all, the photon belt. If you can picture in your mind our universe on a our solar system on a horizontal plane, making a 26,000 year circle. Only it's not exactly a circle because it's really a layer on a spiral, okay? But 26,000 years. Now, that's moving in a flat way. Now, that we have another circle that goes just the opposite. And every 13,000 years, our solar system goes through that other circle. That other circle is made up of photons. And photons are light, but in particle form versus being in wave form. So light can be a particle or a wave. Now, it takes our solar system 2,000 years to go through the photon belt on each rotation. Okay, so 2,000 on each side. So we spend a total in that 26,000 years, we spend 4,000 of those years in the photon belt. Now, on one side, the photon belt is lifting the frequencies of our solar system up. But when we go through the other side, the photons, which are circling, are not lifting us up, but pushing us down. Okay, so we get to experience both the highs and the lows that we're capable of in each 26,000 year cycle. Well, we are now in the photon belt. Now, doesn't have a straight edge. You move into it gradually, just like we're moving into the Aquarian age, and we hit the outskirts of the Aquarian age, 75. Well, it's now it takes us 150 years to get totally into it. In 2012, we were halfway into it. It's the same way with the photon belt. I'm not sure exactly if that takes 75 years, but it takes us a period of time to be fully into it. But each day that goes by, we're more fully into the photon belt and more fully into the Aquarian age. And as you know, the Aquarian age is at a much higher frequency than the Piscean age, which we are leaving. Now there's another phenomena that occurs, and this one occurs every 3,600 years. And that is a planet. It's a planet in our solar system, but its orbit is elliptical, that is a stretched out circle, and it takes 3,600 years for one orbit. Our Earth takes one year to orbit the Earth. Nibiru takes 3,600 years. And Nibiru is a large planet. It's a rock planet, like the Earth, and it has density, and it's 4 to 5 times larger than the Earth. And Nibiru is difficult to see because it tends to be shrouded in a cloud of dust. And this dust is coming off of its many moons. And it has so many moons. Some of the moons are clustered together, and they call them moon clusters. And many of those moons are emitting dust. And a lot of that dust travels around with Nibiru because of its tremendous gravity, and it shrouds the planet. So it's very difficult for astronomers to see. And because it doesn't have a regular orbit, like, a year or 5 years or whatever, it's just not that well known. Now, the last time it came through, the story is recorded in the Bible, and we know it as the story of Noah. But it's also recorded in many of the indigenous cultures throughout the world that were present at that time, in cave art and or in legend. So we know that Nibiru, its passage is close enough that it has a tremendous impact on the Earth. And one of the impacts is some of that dust is going to come to the Earth, which is going to make beautiful sunsets, but also cut back a little bit on the amount of energy that we receive from the sun. And also its gravitational pull. Because it's so much larger than the Earth, its gravitational pull and the electromagnetic field that is emitted from Nibiru is much stronger than ours. So it is one of the primary reasons that we're having the crazy weather that we've been having, and this has been building up over about a decade now. And it seems to be becoming more and more erratic, and Nibiru is playing a role in that. Now, we've got these three factors all happening at the same time. We have moving from a lower Piscean age to a higher frequency Aquarian age. We have moving into this belt of high frequency energy called the Photon belt, which is on the uplift. It's lifting up the frequency of our planet, and it is affecting all life forms on the planet, particularly ours. It's helping us to raise our consciousness. And then we have the third influence of Nibiru, and Nibiru is going to be making its closest point to the Earth in February of 2022. All right? So we're being impacted by that energy. And that energy it's the electromagnetic energy and it's the gravitational energy is what we're going to experience most. And then this also the dust that is falling upon us now. Okay, so what does all of this mean for us? Well, it means that we are in an unprecedented rate of change, personally, planetarily, socially, religiously, economically. Everything is shifting. And a lot of the shift we're not familiar with because our history, well, it's really, our recorded history is relatively short. We don't fully know what effect Nibiru is going to have on the Earth. But if you add these three forces together, with the Photon belt and the Aquarian age pulling us to higher levels, it bodes well. And hopefully that's going to transform whatever negative energy Nibiru might have, let's say not, hopefully it'll overpower that, or at least negate any negative energy that might fall out from Nibiru's passage. So that's the situation that we're in. And if you look at this year, thus far, and we're just halfway through it now, the amount of change that has occurred, not only with the coronavirus and not only with the changes of lifestyle because of that, but the social changes in terms of um, race relations, in terms of relation with police, with our social institutions, the people's shifting feeling about not only our government in the United States, but it seems to be something similar seems to be happening all over the world. So we have change occurring on so many levels, social, economic, religious, and that's the sign of the result of these changes that are now acting upon us. And if you've read my book at all, you have you know that our DNA is changing. The children are coming in. Most of them are coming in with a more evolved DNA. Humanity is evolving at an unprecedented rate. And if you follow the news at all, especially things like National Geographic, you read about all of the life forms that are going extinct. But what you don't read so much about, what is also happening, are the new life forms that are coming in, because the vibration of the earth has changed and is continuing to change. We know that the earth radiates an electromagnetic field that reaches out several 100,000 miles. It goes out of the North Pole, goes out into space, and comes back into the earth at the South Pole. And it's called the Schumann resonance, and that's the frequency of this electromagnetic energy leaving the earth. It was steady for about 45 years at 7.8 hertz. Now it's hitting peaks over 100 hertz. And that's since 1987. So the Earth is going through a very rapid evolution herself. And this is also affecting all life forms that exist on the planet. It appears that 2020 is going to be the most active year in terms of the amount of change that's occurring that we have had to date. My guess is 21 could be equally as changing, or even more so, until it may slow down or begin to slow down after Nibiru's passage. That's my personal feeling. So be ready for change. Now, what this presents for you and for me is an unprecedented opportunity for our own personal growth. And the growth that we're talking about primarily is not growth psychically or physically, but it's spiritual growth. And we have an opportunity to get in touch with the spirit realm that is all about us. It's in nature. It's in the very air that we breathe, and the water that we drink, the food that we eat. And most of us are totally unaware of it. And we have the opportunity with this rapid change to be able to communicate with the angels, with the nature spirits that are called devas. We have the opportunity to do what Jesus told us we could do. And that is, he said, everything that you see me do, you can do, and even greater. And this is the opportune time to learn to do that. And as you do that, you're raising your frequency of consciousness. And when you raise it to the Christed level, then everything that Jesus did becomes a part of your ability to. And so we have an unprecedented opportunity to become what we call a Christed being by being guided and filled and radiating Christed energy. And that's what this is all about. It's a crash course. It requires rapid change. We need to let go. Now, not only we, but all of society needs to let go of their third dimensional beliefs, values, actions, and so on. And the third dimension is based on fear. And the fifth dimension that we're moving into is based on love. All right? Anything that you are afraid of needs to come to the surface so that it can be transmuted or released. And this is part of the reason that at least most light workers are they're inundated. They're inundated with things coming up from within themselves to be dealt with. And it's an opportunity to change it. It's an opportunity to move into a higher level of consciousness. It's an opportunity to begin not only communicating with the angels and the divas and other highly evolved spirit beings, but it's an opportunity to begin to relate to and communicate with and receive conscious energy from your own divine soul. Your soul is a microcosm of the creator of our universe. And as we begin to relate more to it, it is able to share more of itself, not only with us, but through us. And the ideal here is to become one consciousness, one will with our divine soul. And as we do that, we will be moving into Christ consciousness. And if Nibiru in its passage creates disruptions in our, let's say, in the food supply or the energy supply, if we are functioning at a Christed level and we can provide this ourselves, not only for us, but for our loved ones and our neighbors and those who've not yet learned it. And we also, they're going to be open to learn. Hey, you can do this. Will you teach me how to do it? So it's going to create just a learning moment for many, many people. And you are being trained now to be their teacher and their way shower. And that's part of what it means to be a light worker at this point. So let me pause here and open it up to Ortrun and Neshi and anyone else that might have a comment. Ladies, what's on your mind?
What?
There's so much. There's so much. Go ahead.
I said to Carl, I said, this is your topic. I said, this is very, very complicated. So it's really Carl's thing. So I think it's going to be mostly his show tonight. Yeah. But I was asking Carl earlier this evening, and Neshi, correct me if I'm wrong on this. Isn't there a map that shows like a 56,000 year, it's a calendar, and then within are all these different levels of calendars, like he's talking about, a 2,000 year or whatever. And are you talking about, did you say 36,000 years?
36,000.
26,000 year orbit, and within that, we go through the photon belt for each 2,000 years, twice a year.
2150. I think it's 2150. Yeah, because it's for us here on Earth.
Now, each sign in the zodiac is 2,150 years.
Yeah,
there are 12 signs in the zodiac. Yeah, and that equals 26,000.
Right. I was going to say something really important too. What was it? Oh no, I lost it. But I was going to say is that the equinox especially and also the solstices, they're in that rotation, and so the Mayans, and that's I think the calendar that you're referring to, one of them anyway, is that they actually show when, for instance, in 2012 at the solstice, how they called it the end of time, but it wasn't like the man-made time where the world was going to end. It was the shift that was going to occur, right? And it was actually a window of time, not so much, a specific moment, a specific minute kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But it's measured on the equinoxes and the solstices. And moving through the photon belt, I think that I just had, Carl, when you were talking, I just had so many, thoughts that popped in and questions. And there's one that with Nibiru, because of the gravitational pull, many people who study this and have read about it and all that, many times we talk about the increase of earthquakes when Nibiru moves closer to a planet because of its gravitational pull. We also talk about the flipping of the poles, where the north becomes the south and the south becomes the north, so to speak, that magnetic shift. And because of the gravitational pull, right? So if we're looking at Nibiru coming in 2022, because of its size, you'd think that we'd already be feeling its effect, right? I'm just thinking in my mental mind, because it's huge. It's a huge planet with that big of a gravitational field. And you take a look at where our planets are at. Julie Hedges is in the house too. And knowing how those big planets do those huge monumental social shifts, that I can only imagine with the influence of Nibiru's energies and how that's going to magnify that shift. I don't know.
Actually, it's already happening.
Yeah.
The earthquakes have increased. Now, this is only earthquakes, but landslides, sinkholes, floods, droughts, etc. They've all increased about 300% since 1987. And it is attributed to the effect that Nibiru is already having on the planet. Now, I want to share something that this is, I can't vouch for it. I can only say this is what I've been told in my meditation, that the whole solar system, and in fact the whole galaxy and the whole universe, are on an ascension path.
Mm-hmm.
And if Nibiru, since its last passage, has raised to a higher level of consciousness as a planet, which means the frequency is higher, which would make the planet less dense.
Yeah.
So that would diminish its gravitational pull. Now also, planets have consciousness. Our planet has a soul, and the soul name is Gaia. And within certain limits, they can control their own orbit.
Yes.
Now, if Nibiru is in fact at a higher frequency, it would not have a desire to be harmful to the Earth. So its orbit may be altered so that it passes further from the Earth and with less gravitational pull and with less effect on our electromagnetic field. So it may be not nearly as bad as it was last time it passed.
Right. And you know, when you mentioned 1987, that was the first planetary convergence.
Yes.
Right. And we had a couple more in the 90s, but there's a new one coming up. And Rob, I don't know if you could look that up. I think there was, I can't remember where I saw it. Something about unity. There's another convergence coming up soon with the planetary.
You believe
what
happening tonight?
I'm sorry, Rob was talking at the same time. So
Are you talking about an astrological conjunction coming up?
I'm sorry, say
It's
that.
Pluto and Jupiter. Are you talking about an astrological conjunction next month?
Not conjunction, convergence.
Okay, because I believe Pluto and Jupiter. Julie could confirm that.
Well,
next month.
It's not a conjunction, it's a convergence. So if you could look that up, convergence, planetary convergence 2020.
Okay.
You might find something there. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carl.
Yes, there's one happening tonight at well, actually tomorrow at, I think it's 12:58 a.m. All
Is
right.
that Eastern Standard?
That's
or what?
Eastern Daylight Time. Yeah. And it is a convergence of planets. And this is my understanding that all planets radiate energy.
Mm-hmm.
And when a convergence means that the energy field reaching the Earth contains the energy coming from more than one planet, because the convergence is the energies have converged when they are hitting the Earth. All right. And this energy that's coming in tonight is a very high energy. And one channeling says that from their perspective, this marks the end of the Piscean age and the beginning of the Aquarian age. Now we douse that, and well, that's a perspective. Okay, it's not. I wouldn't say that it's a fact because it's not a single point in time. That's a process. All right, but it could be that we're reaching halfway into that, or hitting the halfway point in that process. This within a matter of a couple hours.
Right.
And there is a worldwide meditation, and I don't think you have to meditate at exactly 12:58 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Yeah.
But please, today, what's left of today and tomorrow, please meditate on the planet and on this energy coming in, that it be used for the highest good of all, and see the collective consciousness of humanity opening up in their third eye, in their mind, and in their heart to receive this energy, that they might be uplifted by it. All right. And then you can see the earth absorbing this energy and raising its frequency also.
Right.
Okay.
Because we're all in this together, and we're not just talking us two lights here on planet Earth, but every living being on planet Earth and every sentient being in our universe and other universes. We're all in it together. It's not a solo trip. No.
But it's part of that going into that fifth dimensional level of awareness and consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then you spoke about the coronavirus, that this occurring, and that's really a pause for all of us to have that chance to step back and reevaluate what it is that we want to do, and actually give us that period of time so that we can see that we can live differently than what we've lived up to this point, that we don't have to live in this busy environment where we are unable to truly connect with the divine essence of not only within, but everything that is around us. So they're preparing us also while all this stuff is going on, all these different things are going on, and we are feeling the energies and are responding. Sometimes our body's responding very, very, in a sense, it feels negative, but none of it's negative. It's that it's happening, and with us all here, we've all chosen to be partners in this evolutionary process. Mm-hmm. So we're going to experience positive feelings and negative feelings, but it's all really good. And so when you have those aches and pains, you feel like you're having to lie down for the day. It's all okay, because what you are doing is helping to process that energy that's coming through during that time, so that the planet can continue its upliftment through us, because we are here to uplift the planet. That's really our whole purpose here. So we're all playing a role. I think what Carl says is it can be very complicated solving, because it is even to me, because there's so much going on. Mm-hmm. But basically, it's all these energies that are coming together at one time, and we experienced it for eons of time anyhow, not as intensely as we do now, but we have, because as we're moving through the different parts of the calendar and the zodiac and the way the alignment are of the stars, we can just imagine the intensity of a full moon. How we used to think that was really something, how strong that was, and how it would affect, people that had disabilities, they were reacting strangely and so on. So, and how you felt during those cycles. Well, yes. With all of these energy vibrations, and then they are also higher vibratory frequencies than what we've experienced at this point in time, you can imagine. But we're here to ground those energies so that this evolution, this process can go smoothly. Right, Carl?
Yes, exactly.
Right, Neshi?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, and thank you, Rob, for finding that information.
Yeah,
He was
thank you.
putting up there that there is like I think 4 different planets that converging energy. He had those listed, and that Mars and the Moon joined them in April. So that is the newest convergence of planetary
Yeah.
energy. Thank you, Rob. So the thing is that and I believe it's biblical, and I'm sure Carl, you'll be able to let us know exactly which part of it is in the Bible. But there is a part in there that says something about being in the world or of the world, but not in it.
Mhm.
Right. And so,
Well, being in the world, but not of the world.
right.
Vice versa, yeah.
I knew it was something like that.
It's like living in two worlds.
Yeah, sort of. And so, one of the things that I know for sure for myself is that when we're grounded, balanced, and protected, that we can we can be of more service, and we can use our gifts in such a way, even though all around us there's chaos, right? Even though there's energies that are much lower that seem to be at play more often. That doesn't mean that we have to be absorbed in it, right? I know that for sure. And when you look at our world on the outside, what's going on out there doesn't mean that we should put our heads in the sand and not be aware of it. But it means that we should be doing our own work, minding our own vibration, right? And so that when Ortrun, when she says things like we have to ground it through our bodies to ground it to the earth plane, that's what we're doing when we do our grounding work. And yeah, and it's really important. It's no small thing that we do. And we do that our meditations that way. The other thing that I thought, that side note, is I wonder, because and Julie Hedges asked a question in the chat about why hasn't NASA ever mentioned Nibiru? Why, if this planet is out there, why have they never mentioned it? And
They don't know what.
why astrologers don't include it?
Say that, the last statement again.
And why are astrologers not including that planet? They include other things like asteroids, but not that particular planet.
If Nibiru is the same as it was the last time it passed, it's going to cause tidal waves reaching up to 600 feet in height. This would require, when people knew about it, it would require about 50% of the Earth's population to move, because in points it will reach inland up to 50 miles. It's going to create panic. And my feeling is they should have announced this as a possibility as soon as they knew, so people could make plans and have time to make the adjustments. But it would create so much upheaval, so much fear, so much economic chaos, and so much emotional stress, that their choice is that no, we're not going to let them know until it becomes obvious, which means when it becomes visual without telescopes.
Okay.
So that's the reason. And we who are in the Midwest are in relatively safe position here because we don't have any really large bodies of water around us. If you can imagine what's going to happen to Florida, where the highest point in the state is 60 feet above sea level, and other coastal areas. So that's the reason that they haven't said anything. But by the end of this year, it's projected that it will be visible to the naked eye, and it's going to have to be dealt with. So if you think that we've seen chaos with the coronavirus, if that is true, that it will be visible by the end of the year, maybe what we're going through is just preparation.
But the thing is, the thing that you also said was that the energy vibration of the Nibiru has changed, and so that should cause it not to be as strong as what you're talking about here now.
Okay, that's what I've received, but there's no way to vouch for, to prove that.
Yeah.
It's maybe I'm just getting what I hope is true. It may not be a true message, but I would like to believe that it is.
Okay, so how does that planet Melda? How's that? Is that at all related to Nibiru?
What planet?
What is it? The 8th planet, or what is it? Do you remember?
Well, Planet X?
Yeah, Planet X.
Planet X is another name for Nibiru.
Okay. So Planet X has been mentioned more so than Nibiru.
Science will probably refer to it as Planet X.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's not that it hasn't been mentioned.
Right.
So it has been mentioned. It
Yeah.
just hasn't been mentioned as the word Nibiru.
Well, and
Is that right?
the effect that it has and this closeness has not been dealt with by the scientific community either, in terms of it
Right.
being made public.
Okay.
Yeah, Madonna. Can you show that comment, Rob? Yeah. She says that her husband works for NASA as a high-level systems engineering. He's never heard of Nibiru.
Mm-hmm.
It would be interesting if he would be interested in checking it out, Google it, or check it out on the computer and see what he can find out on that.
Yeah.
And I would be very interested in what he does find out.
Yeah, because it's been talked about by, I don't want to call it New Agers, but for a really, really long time. Cryon, the writings of Cryon, the channeling, has talked about this planet for many years, many years.
It's been in channel information for at least 20 years.
At least. Mm-hmm.
Now, there's one other major thing that's going on, and Ortrun's going to correct me if I mispronounce it. Is it a mime or a meme? A meme? A meme. A meme is an attribute of a value, a belief, etc., of society. And if those of you that are on my mailing list, for the last 2 Sundays, I've sent out, I send this out every Sunday. Owen Waters has dealt with the social memes for the last 2 weeks. And the memes have identified by social scientists throughout, going back to the beginning of our recorded history. And there are certain things that become, let me say, the foundation for a people at that period of time. And they've identified 8 memes up to this point, and each one is higher than the previous one. Like physical survival would be a basic meme, all right? And there is a 9th meme evolving, but there's not enough of it yet, and it's not enough people practicing it to have a clear picture of it. But if you project where the other 8 have gone, you can pretty well get an idea. And the meme that we're in the process of creating, and this is being created primarily, if not exclusively, by the light workers. And this meme, I'm going to call it oneness. It recognizes that not only that we are one human race, we're not just an Earth human race, but we are a part of a solar system, which is a part of a galaxy, which is part of the universe, and it's a unity. It's in that oneness with not only all that's in the physical realm, which is what we perceive with our 5 senses, but it involves also the spirit realm. So it's merging the physical realm with the spirit realm on, I'm going to say, a universal level, on the scope of the entire universe. All right, and that's where we're headed. And the adjustment, or the things that we're going through, the changes that we're going through, are designed to help us move in that direction to open our minds, to expand our minds tremendously, and to open our hearts so that we're functioning out of our heart mind. We're connecting love and compassion with logic. Okay? And that's the direction that we're headed in as a society. The light workers are the ones that are creating this new meme, and we're doing it individually. And as enough individuals do this, we are creating this meme that the rest of humanity will, in their own time, follow. Now, there's another possibility happening here. And some of the channel messages have said, the light workers, they've endured enough. And they are really, they're ready for a break. And the plan A was that all of the earth with all of its humanity was going to evolve at the same time, ascend at the same time. And they're not recognizing that that's not, probably not going to happen. It would take so long and it would endure so much, I'm going to say, discrimination and prejudice and hurt to the light workers. It's not fair to them. So they're looking at plan B. And plan B is that there's going to be a new timeline established here on Earth. And it will be a fifth dimensional timeline, whereas the Earth will remain, for those that are there, on their third dimensional timeline. And this will probably take place over at least several generations of time. So that it's just that when people die, when they reincarnate, where they reincarnate, whether it's on the third or fifth dimensional Earth, will be determined by their level of consciousness. All right. So that's, I can't say again as a fact that is happening, but I personally believe that it is. Any reactions here?
That's a whole lot.
I know, it's just,
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah,
It
right.
takes us beyond our comfort zone, beyond where we are used to being.
Yeah. Well, honestly, when we stop and we think about and feel about the evolutionary process in general, right? It takes thousands of years for something to evolve.
Mhm.
It doesn't happen physically overnight. It takes many, many generations to do that for the physicalness. The evolution of a spirit, I don't think, takes that long.
Right.
Right.
True.
So
can happen
it really
in
is. I
one
think,
meditation.
I know, in a breath, right? In a breath.
Yeah.
And right. And so when Ortrun, when you're talking about how we do our spiritual practices, whether it's meditation or whether it's mindfulness, whatever you want to call it, we have been in the preparation stage for quite a long time, many of us decades, right?
Mhm.
And then you then enter this microscopic little something. And whether or not you want to believe that it was nature or whether it was, constructed by a human for devastation, that really in the big picture really doesn't matter, because it gave us all that time to pause, to do that self-reflection, to
Yeah.
identify what do I want to have in my life and what don't I want in my life, right? I think that we get lost in the drama, in the trauma of it all, and so it's still a gift. No matter how I look at it as a gift. We have a chance to really do some application of all the classes that we've ever taken, all of the lessons that we've learned over our lifetime, not just this physical lifetime, but previous lifetimes. This is the PhD program, right?
It
This is
really is. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
uh-huh. The well, you're talking about how we were preparing, and I have to say that the article I'm going to be writing, or I am writing for the Star Nations magazine for July, is called The Balancing Scale.
oh yeah.
And with that, what is a balancing scale? But today I was just actually recording the meditation for them, and what they had me do was to have the individual go into, of course, a temple, and of course protected and so on. But with that balancing scale being there, and that divine teacher, the divine master that was working with them, actually had them take their heart and put it in his hands, and then he put it on the balancing scale. And according to the ancient ones, it's Ma'at, well, she's the goddess of harmony and balance, and her ostrich feathers, because she also wore ostrich feathers in her headdress. That is placed on the other part of the scale, and then they are to be equal. And that's one that you move up into another level, a higher level of awareness and consciousness, into another dimension. And so with that, in your meditations, do that. See the balancing scale before you, and place your heart on that, and see how, in your mind's eye, see how heavy it is, because of all that we're still storing in our heart. The fears and angers and whatever it might be, even though, when we look into our high heart, it dissipates somewhat and it clears out. But our hearts are heavy. There's many of us, our hearts are still heavy now. So by handing that heart over to your divine master, and then having all of your divine ones working with you, and then them taking all the different pieces, because you are that Christ diamond, and so they're taking all those different pieces, and they start polishing those pieces now, because they have been somewhat damaged over the many lifetimes, but they're all still things that we're working, that we are still hanging on to. And so by polishing and clearing that up, and then once that whole process is finished, it takes a while. You'll know when you're finished doing that. Then have your master again put your heart on that balancing scale, and see how much lighter it becomes, so that it really does even out, so that it does become as light as a feather. And when we're to that point in our process, then we're not going to have those things that fear pulling us anymore. And when we get a certain pain or something, because we are processing energy, it's something that's not going to throw us off anymore, because we know this is part of the process that we have come in here to assist with, and to ground into our planet Earth, to Mother Gaia. So, but the more clearer that we can be in our heart and also in our mind, do this kind of a practice also with your mind, so that then both your heart and your mind are clear, and those little dust pellets that are still hanging out there are swept away, and they're put in their place. And then that diamond that you are, it will start radiating all these beautiful, magnificent color vibrations. And so then when you are processing energy vibrations that are coming from every direction, look at the energy you're going to be feeding that beautiful energy, and then grounding that into the planet, and how much that our planet Earth is going to be well, thankful for it, and how much more it will uplift the planet.
Mm.
It'll be much more quickly. It'll occur much more quickly.
Julie Hodges has said, does the meme have anything to do with the 100th monkey understanding? And the answer is absolutely yes. For those that are familiar with that 100th monkey, that changed the eating patterns, or the way monkeys ate they washed their sweet potatoes. They were on separate islands. When one monkey started it, and it grew on one island, reached a certain point, and the other monkeys, without any visual example of their doing that, began doing it too. And that's exactly the way social memes are created. So yes, that's a good point, Julie. Thanks for bringing that up.
Mm-hmm. Good one. Good one. Oh my goodness. It's about 10:02, and if we're going to do a meditation, we should probably do that.
Well, yeah, it's going to be a short one, right? But it's okay. We will do that if you want to do that right now. Okay. So why don't you take a moment and close your eyes and take a deep breath and allow yourself to relax into this time that we have now together. And let your mind be quiet as it gently absorbs the melodies of love that are being sent to you from the cosmic realm. And retire to your temple, the temple within, the temple where the I am, your I am presence dwells. Be still and be at peace. Find in this Holy of Holies, Divine Master standing there waiting for you to take yet another step in your evolvement, in your level of awareness, moving into Christ essence, Christ consciousness, and on upward to divine consciousness. And while in this space, take a look at your heart. Take a moment and gaze upon it. Its rhythmic beat, the beauty of it, how it feeds us, how it nourishes us. Love your heart. Embrace your heart. And allow your heart to become that Christ diamond. If there is anything that is making your heart feel heavy, have these divine masters, healing masters that are with you now, remove those parts of your heart, that energy vibration that has been stored there, and see them, handling them to their assistance. Those that know energy vibration understand it and know how to alchemically transmute it. So they take these pieces, these parts of your heart, and each one begins to take it and moves on over to the wheel, the polishing wheel. And like the beautiful, beautiful tough stone, how it has become polished and beautiful, so also are the many pieces of your heart being polished even more and more. And as this is occurring, the vibratory frequencies are changing within these segments of it. And when it is fully polished, it is again pieced back in your heart. Pieced back in your heart. having replaced the old with the new. And there, your heart has been uplifted to higher levels of awareness, consciousness. Within your heart is also your divine mind, for it has joined you. For as your heart has been uplifted to higher consciousness, divine merges with it. Heart, mind now functioning together so beautifully. And this too continues to draw you upward, even higher and higher. Where now you're open, receptive to receiving only that which is the true you, your fully realized self. So all of you, your physical, your mental, your emotional, your auric, your astral, your soul, all of your bodies, your causal body, your etheric body, they are all united in harmony. And look now upon your heart. Sense its heartbeat. And begin to feel the heartbeat that is within you. It is the heartbeat of all that there is. It is within you. It is within every one of us. It is within our planet, the universe, the universes, super universes. It is the all beating as one. You're united. You're blessed. You're whole and complete. And with this knowing, begin to take a step forward. And again, your feet are upon the ground, our planet Earth. Where now Earth and the heaven have merged together. You are living now in two worlds. And as you move on outward throughout the days ahead, remember this inner knowing that all is well, all is divine. And so it is. So it is. So it is.
Thank you, Ortrun. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow, that was so good. Thank you, Ortrun.
You're more than welcome. Thank you.
Hope everybody's back. You might want to say hi to us in the chats just to check on you guys, let us know that you're back.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Carl, do you have anything? We're at the very top of the hour. If you have something else you'd like to share, maybe last words for the evening about our topic.
Yes, please make it a daily habit of at least once a day going within. getting in touch with your own soul, and getting in touch with your own spirit family, with your angels and your teachers and your guides, and ask them to please express and experience through your physical body and through your five senses, with them being in control.
Thank you, Carl. Ortrun.
Well, it was quite an exciting evening, I would think. I think that there's quite a new thoughts being thrown out here. At least I saw in some of the comments that it's hard to follow, it's hard to understand, but know with your open heart and with your divine heart and mind, know that you're receiving these energies, even if you are unaware of it. The focus is that you make your heart as pure as you can, so that these divine energies are able to assist you and also assist the planet. And I know you're all doing that on some level.
Right.
And I appreciate it. Thank you for it.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you for that, Orchard. Thank you for that. And I'd just like to add, my 2 cents, and that is to also keep both in mind and heart that all of creation is here with us, assisting us, and we're not in this all alone. That we have all of our relatives all over the universe that are with us. And that's why sometimes I think that we can't wrap our mental mind around it, because the energy field is so much bigger than we could even imagine. And so just to be able to be open to another perspective is light years ahead of a lot of other things going on. So thank you for being with us this evening. We so enjoy this kind of conversation, don't we? And yeah. And so anyway, if you could please join me for my show, Communications from Home, coming up right after we wrap up this show. We're going to start that show next, and that is all about ceremony and elders. And so thank you both so much. And Carl, thank you for
Thank you. Our blessings to all.
we have your yeah. And thank you, everybody. We also have the website for Ortrun and Carl listed. It's also pinned in the comments. You can check out their website for Carl's book, because if you want to know more about Nibiru and the Photon belt, it's in his book, right? And of course, there's all kinds of stuff that they have there for you, and you can go and visit them at their website. So with that, enjoy your evening, and thank you so much for being with us this evening. We'll see you next month for Living in Two Worlds, the last Tuesday of July. Good night, everybody.
Good night.